Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Ha'arakah, Kadash, double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and shalom to the hopeful elect. This is going into the current events, news and prophecy. I've got an article here from Sky News, all right, and it's dealing with this recent quote unquote terrorist attack that happened down in South London, and I'm gonna delve into it, showing how it aligns with prophecy and things of that nature. So, the title reads Streatham terror attack. 2 stabbed and a man shot dead in South London. The attacker was under active police surveillance, says Sky security correspondent. So this ain't the first time a terrorist attack like this has happened. And you've had the terrorist is actually under active police surveillance, because that's happened many times before in these kind of cases. And it's that then brings about the question that, okay, if you're watching these people and then they're going out there and committing terrorist acts and they're injuring and even in some cases killing people, how comes you're not stopping them prior to these events happening? And that's about what that's going to bring about is changes in legality, which really is going to, the same people saying this, or why aren't you going to stop? Ultimately, you're going to throw yourself in the bag of possibly being a terrorist as well, because the reason why I say that is because then they got to take away your human rights, basically, within this legal system, as to where if they have information to believe that you're a terrorist and there's a good possibility you could commit a terrorist act, what are they gonna do? They're gonna just lock you up, and there'll be new laws put in place based on certain things to basically say you're a criminal. All right. Now there's a recent law that actually was passed as well that said that anyone seen, like anyone that simply clicks on anything deemed a terrorist form of media will basically be deemed a terrorist, and you can be punished for that, be thrown away in prison. Okay. And on top of that, we gotta remember as well, you had extinction revolution or rebellion. I think rebellion, extinction rebellion. They were thrown on a terrorist watch list. And you had one of the MPs. She basically mentioned that, look, she stood by the fact that they were put on the list, whereby others said it was a mistake and they took them off the list. But she stood by it and said they're a different form of terrorism, and she was delving into the idea of them being in information terrorism, basically. So the reason why I'm saying this is because now the lines are being blurred, basically. So whereby the spectrum of what defines a terrorist is more broader than simply someone going out there and killing people in the streets, or blowing themselves up, or setting up bombs and all that kind of stuff. Is a total. They're basically stepping into a different atmosphere with this thing of terrorism. All right, so I'm gonna read on. 2 people have been stabbed and a terrorist has been shot dead following an Islamist-inspired terror attack in South London. Here's what we know so far. The attacker, Sky News understands the terrorist was a man from Harrow named Sadesh Aman in his early 20s. He was released from prison just days ago after serving half of a 3-year sentence for spreading extremist material. See, and that's the other hook, line, and sinker. All right. So now the other point is you got these people that I believe that's in the law as well, that if you get and it's convenient, this story's actually happened after that law was passed. All right, because they got Manchurian candidates, people that are sleeping cells basically to go out and do these terroristic attacks. All right, so the fact that I believe the law says that it's a mandatory that you serve all your years, basically, or you got to serve life, something to that effect. But the point being is he served half his sentence for spreading extremist material, and that's everything. All these things, these different stories that come out, they're really gunning for who? for Israel, man. The prophets of Yahweh Bashem El Shai. Because really what they want to take away is a quote unquote freedom of speech. Those laws that are in place that allow you to, as they would say, express your opinion. But we, through that same law, same said law, were able to go out there and prophesy the downfall of this kingdom according to the prophecies written inside the Holy Bible. Okay? We ain't doing nothing physical. It's just literally a message from the Heavenly Father that he's placed that in our minds. He's put his spirit upon us to us go out there on the highways and byways and to push that word out there. And Esau knows. Esau is wiser than Daniel. Esau knows that this is a regular occurrence, all right, when it comes to kingdoms of wickedness, all right? Even in the nation of Israel, you had prophets that rose up to prophesy unto them. And this is widely known. That's why the bones of Geronimo are in the skull and crossbones in Yale, all right? That's because they know there's an energy behind Israel, man, a vibration upon Israel of a great spiritual presence within Israel. So, reading on again, it says he was released from prison just days after serving half of a 3-year sentence for spreading extremist material. So that's the main point. What they deem extreme, there's no detail as to what extremist material is, right? And that ain't me defending him, but I'm just saying the point is the fact that you don't know what the process was, and I'm sure it's probably going to come out because they said that whole thing, the law before, but if you click on anything that's deemed extreme, you can be deemed a terrorist and thrown in prison. So ultimately, in saying that, it's basically going to put a censorship on you being able to speak this word, man. Right? The shutting down of the internet and freedom of speech, okay? Which ultimately is the famine of the hearing of the word, right? Which is a fulfillment of prophecy, ultimately, okay? He wore a fake bomb vest as he stabbed 2 people in Streatham today before being chased and shot dead by armed police. The terror, and why is it, and a brother mentioned this, man, why is it they always use knives, all right? And the reason why I believe that is because they want to, again, if you're a terrorist, the guy had a fake bomb and all this stuff, granted you need access to weaponry. But I just want to focus on the fact that knife crime is rampant in the UK, okay? That's something that's easily, what that is doing then is now, is fusing the two of terrorism and knife crime to make it seem greater than what it really is, okay? To make it feel like it has like terrorism has a wider reach, and at the same time, it gives the ability for the law, the prosecution, the judicial system to basically now deem anyone that's using a knife as a terrorist. So then, what would that entail? That means terrorism is rampant. Just like knife crime right now is rampant, it's gonna make terrorism rampant in the UK, all right? Then even on top of that, knives is a very accessible weapon, all right? You know that the UK, it's hard for, there's gun licenses, people can have shotguns and these different forms of artillery, but guess what? Not everyone can have it, but a knife is very accessible. You can go to your pound shop, all right, and go, or your value store and go and buy a set of knives for £1 or whatever, all right? However much it costs, and that's what most of the time these users are using. Okay, even in this case, this guy may have used a kitchen knife. All right, so that makes it the idea of being a terrorism it's easy access. Basically, it don't take much, but all for you need to do is go down to the pound shop, be armed with the will of jihad or whatever them kind of doctrines, and you want to go out there and start killing people. So now that breeds more fear amongst the people and allowing the government to easily implement their new world order, okay? Taking away the rights of the people. But the main reason they want to do that is hitting 2 birds with 1 stone. They want to make the words of Yahweh Ba'Shem El Shai Ba'Shem HaRakah Kadash come to naught in terms of the prophets being on the highways and byways and not being able to prophesy, all right? Because of the internet and demonization to look like terrorists and whatnot. But then also it allows them to further their agenda in bringing about the New World Order, okay? Where it restricts people from doing certain things and it allows them to implement the New World Order. All really leading to the shutting down of the society as we know it and leading to the return of Yahweh Ba'Shem El Shai, Ba'Shem HaRakah Kadash, Yahweh Shai coming, World War III and all these things, okay? The terrorist was under active police surveillance at the time of the attack. Sky News security correspondent Alistair Bunkle said the stabbings are believed to have been Islamist related, said Met Police Deputy Assistant Commissioner Lucy Diorsi. The victims, 2 people were stabbed. One of them is in life-threatening condition in hospital. All right, a third person was treated for minor injuries believed to be caused by glass following police gunshots. All right, so this guy poked up a couple people and wound up getting shot dead. Where and when did the attack unfold? The attack took place on Streatham's busy high road, around 7 miles from central London, at about 2 p.m. Video shows 2 officers with guns drawn approaching the body outside Boots before another plainclothes officer on a high-powered motorbike pulls up. They back off as the man on the ground lifts his head slightly more and more armed officers arrived. Okay, a witness described seeing a man with a machete and silver canisters being chased by armed police. The 19-year-old student who wanted to remain anonymous said, "I was crossing the road when I saw a man with a machete and silver canisters on his chest being chased by what I assume was an undercover police officer as they were in civilian clothing. The man was then shot. I think I heard 3 gunshots, but I can't quite remember." Other witnesses, Karka Tahir, told Sky News, "I saw this guy literally running on pavement and behind him were 2 or 3 police officers undercover with a gun. They kept telling him to stop, but he didn't stop. And when I saw that they shot him 3 times, it was horrible seeing. The man was on the floor and looked like he had something with which the police said to maybe a device. Police came to us and said, you have to leave the shop because he has a bomb in his bag. After shooting him, they went to check on him while he was alive, and then they found something. I believe there was a bomb or something, and they stepped back and told everybody to step back." The shop owner, who also wanted to stay anonymous, said the man had taken a knife from a shop before stabbing a man and a woman. See, I didn't even know that. That's the spirit. But that shows you how quick, obviously they believed he had an improvised bomb upon him, but it turned out to be fake. It was a hoax, right? But the fact is, he just walked in a shop, pulled out a knife, and that boom. Really what deemed him a terrorist is the fact that he stabbed 2 people more so than the fake vest. So that shows you how easy it is for someone to step into that terrorist role, man. And again, that's not we're about, man. We're about pushing this word, man. We're prophets of Yahweh Ba'Shem and Shai. The word prophet means to say before. So that's true to our name. That's our job, to say what's going to happen before it does. But we have no part in making it happen. We ain't going to be the ones pushing the buttons for ICBMs to fly from Russia to America. We have a part to play, but that's when we get turned into hunters, and that's going to be, as it tells you in Jeremiah, the 16th chapter, and that's going to be done by spiritual power. Now, unless none of us can turn, really, again, Esau, if you really look at us like a big issue, and we're saying that we're going to be saved by UFOs and we're going to get spiritual power and be like Superman, by your standards, we should be fucking crazy, man. Cuckoo. You know what I mean? So why would you even give someone like that any kind of time? But obviously he knows, through the spirit, He's wise than Daniel. He's accomplished his diligent search, and he knows what it is. All right, the power of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahshua B'Hashem Al-Rakar Kadash is a true power. Okay, and more so, things are gonna play out a certain kind of way. On social media, Dave Chorner said he had helped one of the victims. All right, but that's more or less the point. All right, because I don't want to go into all the. Check out. Let me read what the Prime Minister had to say. So, Prime Minister Boris Johnson's response: "My thoughts are with the injured victims and their loved ones following today's horrific attack in Streatham. I want to pay tribute to the speed and bravery of the police who responded and confronted the attack and preventing further injuries and violence, and all of the emergency services who came to the aid of others. An investigation is taking place at pace to establish the full facts of what happened, and the government will provide all necessary support to the police and security services as the work goes on. Following the awful events at the Fishmongers Hall in December, we have moved quickly to introduce a package of measures to strengthen every element of our response to terrorism, including longer prison sentences and more money for the police." And that's dealing with that law that was passed recently, all right, which he didn't even outline clearly. But that's for those that were in the know. Tomorrow we will announce further plans for fundamental changes to the system for dealing with those convicted with terrorism offences. So what's the point of all this? This terrorist attack has now is a turning point in the way the legal system, the judicial system deals with terrorism. All right, that's the main thing. So that article, you can check it out. If I can find it, I'll find the article. I know I've got it somewhere here in my tabs, but I ain't gonna go through all of them. But I want to close out with this scripture. A very simple one, but it's to the point, man. "Behold, the days come, saith the Lord power, that I will send a famine in the land." All right? Not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord. All right? So, hearing the words of the Lord, there's an election that's been set, predestined before the establishing of this earth. And with that elect being established, with that elect being established, they're set up to hear the word, okay? Because faith comes by hearing. But it tells you that the destruction's held back until the 144,000, the governing body of the nation of Israel, until they're basically sanctified in its word, the destruction ain't gonna come to pass. So basically, if there's a famine of hearing the words of the Heavenly Father, that means that there's no more. Ultimately, what that means is there's no need for His word to be spoken anymore, okay? Because the elect have been sealed, all right? So ultimately, these events that's going on, which is basically going to lead to the famine of hair in the world, all that means is we're going to be out of it, man, all right? So brothers, keep your head up, all right? Look forward to our redemption. It draweth nigh. So with that, man, I pray you edified. Shalom.